Okay, welcome back everybody to Coffee and Art in the Morning. It's Monday morning, and we've got a little bit of time here to continue working on I'm calling it Mini Magazine Mind Mapping Idea Collecting Prompt Playground. Anyway, this is part two. The first part was how to make it out of old magazines. So I'm not even going to talk about that now. You have to watch part one. Hopefully everything uploads fine. So I made it, and it's still, it really needs to go under some heavy books overnight, but we just made it, and so it's still a little damp, if you will, even though I hit it with the heat gun. It really needs to set up overnight. So it's two magazines cut in half, which makes four sections. And what we're going to do with this is like I've done in my large magazine journals, and paint and like reverse collage and but instead of making it for an art journal, we're going to make it for ideas. And again, I've already gone through all of the ideas in part one, the listing, the mind mapping, the questioning. So I'm not going to cover that unless we just start writing them in here. But first, I want to just kind of show you how we're going to start with the paint. I don't know, this may end up being another part later. It won't be today because I'm going to end by 1. So we have a couple hours to work on it. All right, so I'm going to get a couple different tools here. And again, my covers, it's kind of a little bit, you know, just still damp. Okay, so again, being old magazines, you're going to have all kinds of things in the magazines already. Now, you can use whatever kind of, these are some old Somerset Studio, or not Somerset, Somerset publications, Stampington publications that I've cut down. Okay, so if there's any words here, leave them if you like them. All right, but what I want to show you how to do is, if there's areas that you don't want, like there's some text, or there's some just no room to write your ideas, your list in, then you're going to need to white something out. Or when I say white out, I just mean paint out. It can be whatever color you want. Okay, I have a big old jar of some white craft paint here because I don't use gesso, so that's kind of like my gesso. But anyway, so you can let's just use this one. I might like the view, but I don't want the word dollhouse. Okay, so I might put out a little, and it's very, what, I don't want to say the word eclectic. It's very not random. It's it's kind of like, and I'm reaching over here for a minute, guys. It's just very, you just pick what you want. Now, one of the things that I like about this idea, this process, is using the colors in the magazine images for your inspiration. So in other words, I've just got out a tan color, so I'm going to squeeze out some tan. I'm going to squeeze out, I don't even know if I opened this jar yet. Did I open this? Yeah, I did. I'm going to squeeze out some white. And I like using Americana craft paint. Although this I got on sale, this big Anita's brand at Hobby Lobby I got on sale, so I bought a big old jar of it. But my favorite craft paint is Americana, just because I like the colors, the coverage. It's just my favorite. Not sponsored or anything, I just like it. Okay, so let's just start with those colors. And I see a little bit of mint green. Let's go with mint green. So it helps you to like pick colors out you like, and just color combinations and color selections and all that. So if you have any questions, just ask. Oh, what did Sarah say? I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to kind of prop this up because it is kind of thick. I find when I'm working in a book like this that's taller on one side than the other, what I'll do is I'll put something under it. Like, let me put this black book here. One of my big freestyle, really big notebooks. Oh, let's see, that may be too tall. It's okay. All right, now I do want to get some wax paper or parchment paper or something to put behind, because I don't want to glue my pages together, and I don't want anything on this book, so just not too much anyway. Here's some parchment paper. So I'm just going to protect, so I'm not gluing pages. And again, guys, don't feel like you have to go from front to back. I don't use apple barrel, but there's nothing wrong with them. You know, I just personally like the colors that Americana puts out. I showed before that don't try to go from front to back in one of these magazine journals. You want to go some from the front, some from the back, some from the middle, because this will be what happens. See how the spine warped almost completely sideways? That's because I went from front to back, and the moisture bent that spine, and there's no getting that flat again. So you want to skip back and forth, like in this one, I did that, in this one. So you can see it's still kind of janky, but it's not as bad as the other one. Okay. Okay, so let's just start and play. Now let's put some paper behind this one. Okay, just so that I'm not gluing the pages together with paint. All right, so I just started with these 3 colors. Well, I might just pick up whatever on my palette knife. Just pick up some colors. I got a little bit too much white there. Let's take out some of that white. And I might just start scraping. Okay, I might start scraping some paint on. Some green. And you can do this, you can take your cards, you know, we've all done it with cards before and scraped with cards. It's just all the same kind of mixed media. But the purpose of this book is for you to eventually, after you do some pages, is for your ideas. Now, this is not a one day, like, oh, I'm done today project. It's going to take a while, guys. You know, if you want to decorate pages. Now, you don't have to do any of this painting or collaging or anything. You can just find blank areas on your page and just write with a big Sharpie marker. All right, so now I'm going to take a baby wipe, and I'm just going to kind of start blending some out. Might pick some more up. So I'm essentially reversing out. I'm instead of adding, I kind of just call it reverse collage, because if I add any collage, it's going to be after I've done this part. Okay, you don't have to cover every word up. Again, I'm calling this my mini magazine mind mapping idea collecting prompt playground. I came up with that at 1 o'clock in the morning. And yeah, okay, so it's just something like that. Maybe I want a little bit more textury stuff over here, so I might just scrape on some more. Maybe that's too much. See? So you get the idea, and you got to kind of keep this pretty what do you call it, distressed. If you want this really neat, you're more than welcome to do whatever you want with your book. But yeah, if you want to use it for some ideas, you got to get crack-a-lacking, right? All right, so I'm going to take these out now, and I'm going to hit this with the heat gun. And people always ask about, you know, when you add paint like this, does it wrinkle all your pages? It will kind of, I can feel a wrinkle in it, but by the time I add paint to this side, it's not going to be as wrinkly as you think. They'll warp a little bit. There won't be a test, yeah. It'll warp a little bit, especially like if you do paint in a color book, but it's not as bad as you think. As long as you don't oversaturate where you get the paper all pilled. In other words, you've almost so saturated the paper that it's almost, the water's almost going through. If you notice, there was no water involved. It's just straight out of the jar. No water was involved. Now I might want a little bit more, let's just say I want a little bit more, you know, distressy, textury look here. Might add a little bit of white. And you can, again, guys, I'm kind of overplaying right now, but you can take as little or as much time as you want to do this, because this is going to be your playground for your ideas. Okay, you can take, let me dry this and I'll show you. I'm trying to squeeze in as many things as possible. And this is sort of toward the front of the book, so I might add, you know, like right here would probably be a good place. Remember I said that you should add these questions toward the front of your book: who, what, where, when, why, and how. Put these somewhere at the front of the book, because this is like the most important part of this book in listing and mind mapping your ideas. These questions. I cut them with an X-Acto knife and a metal ruler, Eileen. I did it before the show, although at the beginning of the part 1, I told how I did it, but I cut them up before the show so that y'all didn't have to sit there and watch me slice for, you know, 30 minutes or whatever it took me. So I just cut them in, and I'm going to flip through the book. You'll see what it looks like, cut in half and divided into 4 quadrants. Okay, so you could stamp out who, what, where, when, why, and how. That may be good. I thought about like a view from, I might take out some, again, you kind of have to go back to part 1 to see all that we're including in this. There's a lot of stuff we're including in this that I don't really want to re-show on part 2. Let me get maybe I should pull out my little nibs from Janet, or my nibs from Pam. So yeah, so it's my nib holders. Okay, so let's see, but I might have a pen already. So I'm going to pull out some ink. I also showed my magicals, Eileen. Let's just grab some. I also showed my magicals that I've got in jars, and talked about the failed driveway art I tried this weekend. Let's just go with, how thick of a nib do I want? Maybe just this thick, I don't know. I'm just going to play a little. This just shows you the variety of things you can do. All right, so I'm going to open up some Dr. Martin's Black Star matte. Just going to squeeze out a little on my soapstone here. This is what I use to, rather than dip in a jar, I put it on the stone. See, it has a little well. It kind of, and it's pretty crunchy. I need to kind of clean it. I don't peel out, but see if I got enough in there. I don't think I did, but let me do a little quick test here. Okay. Need a little bit more. Almost thought I need to get magazines to make one of these. You have, yeah, you got a million Daiso journals for sure, Sarah. And again, I like this idea because you're going to see when I flip through this how cool it is, and I'm going to go through page by page here in a minute, before we end. Okay, so let's just say view from a, and remember, we're idea collecting, we're writers, we're artists, we're a little everything. So I'm going to, let's see if I make sure I don't have a, do I have a lump on that, or is that okay? Okay. View from a, I know what I'll do. And don't think you have to do calligraphy in your book. I'm just, doing mine this way. Hear my mailman out there. And I could do things a little neater. I can tell. But I'm just... See, do I want to come across... Oh, let's just go there. Not very neat. It's not perfect. Don't anybody email me. You're doing your letters wrong. I'm working on top of paint. Let's just do that. View from a scribe's mind. Okay. Just a little thicker. Yeah, and those probably should have been rounded. That should have been straighter up and down, technically speaking. But, all right, I'm just trying to get y'all some ideas going here. All right, let me move this out of the way. All right, let me hit it with the heat gun. I'm trying to show you that you can use letters and words that are already there. Oh, CC is Clarissa. Okay, thanks. Hey, CC. I'll try to remember that, Clarissa. Yeah, she's a real person. She's not anonymous anymore. Okay, so what I want to show is you can do this kind of thing. Oh, I was going to get an ink pad. Hang on. Let's see I don't know if one of these are working. Not sure which ones are working anymore. I don't use them often enough. Probably my Nick Bantock ones maybe, but let's just see this. I'm going to just take a distressed one. Let's just see if there's any life in it. Ah, yes, there's still life in it. So I might just like ink my edges like this. And see how I'm just kind of going right over the paint? See how that kind of made it like very extra distressed? Take some of that off there. You're welcome. Now let me hit that with the heat gun again. So any techniques that you're using in your art journals, mixed media, any of that, it all works with this, just like our big magazine journal. And again, guys, if you'd rather do what we're doing here in the big magazine, in your big journal, you know, full magazine, let's say full magazine size, rather than cut down, then use a big magazine or glue together too. Okay, all right, so I do want to this is a good spot for my questions. So I'm just doing this random as we go. Let me get my alphabet stamp thing here. Some of my alphabets. And you know what I haven't used? Remember I got these two Ranger inks. This one's plum color and this one's cornflower blue. I got these on clearance at Hobby Lobby. I think it was Hobby Lobby. I think I'm going to use this plum one for my questions. So let's just give it a go. How could you distress that without ink? You could paint. I mean, I would just take my finger. I've done many pages. Well, I'll do it in a minute. I want to finish this one first. I would just pick up paint on my finger. Well, here, let me do it on the big magazine. Okay, so here is something in the big magazine journal. You can take and just look. Well, that's not showing up. I'll go with white just so you can see. Okay, see how I'm just kind of going along the edge? Now I would put some paper between it because you can easily glue pages together with your paint. See, I'm just touching it, barely touching it. You can do that with just your finger. All right. All right, so let's give this a test here because I want all my questions, my who, what, when, why, where, how on here. Because remember, that's the most important thing about the idea, using them. Yeah, well, I don't know about the thing here. I don't know about reusing a dried ink pad with your magicals. The reason being is because magicals, when they're dry, they're permanent. I need to ask Janet, and she may still be gone, when she put the magicals in the palette that she dipped out of and painted the relief that she did on her show, how did those dry completely in the palette, and were they non-reconstitutable after they dried in that palette? Or Eileen might know. Once you squeeze some out in a palette or mix some up in a palette, Eileen, and any left, that's it, right? It's dry, it's done. It won't reconstitute. Am I correct? So anyway, that's what I'm thinking about. If you put that magicals on an ink pad, if it dries, that's it. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so I'm going to, I don't like the W there. I think I'm going to use the upside down M. It's a little, or well, you know what? I think I'll just use a different W. Okay, so I'm going to have, and let me do a little test on another sheet of paper right here to see. Okay, yeah, it's kind of a plum, brown plum. They did dry, but you could reconstitute them in the palette. Okay. Because I'm not sure that that would be a good idea to try to, I mean, I guess I could have an old thing here and take one of my sprays and spray it down, you know, in a dried out ink pad. But I'm thinking it would just dry out it would just dry. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to have a who, a what, a where, a why, a when, and a how. And I just stamp off my, of course, archive. These are waterproof, so it doesn't, I don't care if my stamps are dirty, as long as it's like, if I use a distressed ink, that can reconstitute with the next use. But if I use this archival permanent waterproof thing, then once that's dry on there, it's not going to pick up again with another color. Okay, so there's that. So that's, and I just have 3 alphabets in here. And another, I'll show you this, and this is the idea. I got this from Paula. Well, we all got this idea from Paula. If you have these tiny stamps like these that we all have, this is a bullet case, an ammo case. You can get these at hardware stores or anywhere they sell ammo, sporting goods stores. They're like $2 or $3. And they fit, there's different sizes. This is a small one, so I have the small ones in here. But look, they fit right in the little squares. Can you see there's squares in there? And it's a great way to organize your alphabet stamps, your wood ones. So I've got like this one. This one. This is my typewriter ones I use all the time. Now again, look, it's a little big, but they're not falling over. They're all in there. Because see, it's kind of deep. Look. See? So these are my typewriter stamps. I love these. Love my typewriter stamps. So there's that one. This one. There's another one. Tiny ones. Another one. So you see, it's an awesome place to, it's an awesome way to use, because you know they always fall over and it's hard if they're in the little box they come in, they're hard to get in and out. This is simple, just you know, you can alphabetize them and look. Isn't that cool? They're ammo cases, Prisma, like for bullets, hunters or your ammo. You get them at sporting goods stores. And Paula came up with that idea. Okay, it's back to this one now. I think this one was an old cigar case. Like, I think cigars were individually in these little rows. I don't remember. I've had this one for I don't even know how many years. Yeah, and sporting goods have all kind of tackle boxes and all kinds of things like that. Oh my gosh. You had some letters all backwards like dot. Oh. Okay, so now I'm going to I took the larger letter for the cap here. Now I'm going to just do who, oh, let's see, I didn't get it juicy enough. Who I'm kind of guessing going over it. Who, go back to my H. And I'm not lining it up like on a line. I'm just, you know, I just want the questions here. Oop. Oh well. As long as I can read, as long as I know what the question is. Who, what, and y'all know I'm not a stamper. I'm not a good stamper. And Rach would be the first to tell you. Well, she may not say. She's thinking it. Who, what, where. When. I'm so bad about not cleaning. Why? Okay, I'm done with these. Cute. And I put them back in order so that I can find them the next time. Rach is probably watching recording between her fingers on her face. I know, right? Oh, sorry, Rach. L-N-O-L-L-M-N-O. Oh, where'd my P? Oh, P. Got these out of order. P-Q-R-S-T. A-T-Q-R. Oh, wait, this has got to go. They fit in there just a certain way. And how? H-O. I don't like this W. It's too... I want to just use it. I'll use it upside down M. I like that better than the... Okay. And now a question mark. Ah, here we go. Big old question mark. Who, what, where, when, why, how. And those are the questions you want to ask with all the lists and mind mappings that we're doing. Very important. The most important, actually. Okay, let's put that stamp set. Oops, let's put this stamp set back up here. And that's another thing I do need to organize, because I gave away about half my stamps, but my stamps and stencils need to be gone through. Let me hit it with the heat gun. All right, so let me just kind of, before we do more painting and things, remember what we're going to do here. We are writing down our idea lists, and for us to mind map and ask these questions. So your words, here's how I'm going to do it. You can do it however you want. How I'm going to do it is some pages might have like a creative record. I want that maybe, but I don't want the writing. So I'm just going to pick up some white paint on my finger. And sometimes it may take a couple coats if you want to get rid of the writing, even if it's not white. Let's say I did this in pink. It may take a couple coats to cover up printed text. But I don't really want it completely covered. I kind of like the idea of seeing the text kind of coming through. I find it funny when I hear crafters say, anywhere you can get your ammo. Anywhere you can get your ammo? Sounds funny. Crafters say, anywhere you get your ammo. Nat. It sounds like a song. Okay, so just enough to cover up the text, right? Now, I may want to start adding. Now, I really don't want to do it at the front. I want to do it after my question. So I started a few pages in just so I have a little. All right, here. This is a good place for me to cover up some more. Get a brush here. It's kind of a medium size. Let me move my calligraphies off, take a sip of coffee. See, I could do this all day, but I have work to do later today. I go, oh no. I have to do work while I'm watching Janet and Jean today. I can't play too much after 1 o'clock. I have to go to I have to work at 1. Yeah, y'all, if you're a streamer, feel free to put your links or YouTube. All right, so I got water on my brush, so it kind of watered that down a little. I shouldn't have I should have got all the water out of my brush. Let me. But what the idea for this book is to write down randomly. So in other words, I might have on one page, I might have the word like we started out earlier. We had a gardener, a dog, Ivy, a schoolhouse, and some form of transportation. I think we said a school bus or a city bus. So all those words may be on this page. Random. They don't necessarily go together. In other words, I'm not making a list of transportation. That's in my big 3-ring binder. These, I want them random on purpose. You're not streaming today, Jean? Are you wore out from all your cleaning? Did you get it done, Jean? I'm sorry you're not feeling well. Is it your knee? Heat gun again. And see, it buckled a little bit, but by the time you scrape more paint front and back, you know, again, here's some table of contents. Don't want that. So, but you could put on your table of contents some of the lists that you are including in it. You know, like discoveries, inventions, occupations, whatever. You got to personalize it to make it where you're going to use it. Because remember, you're going to like mind map these in a sketchbook or someplace that you can really space out. This is more just for your list than for actual sketching, like this book here, or you know, any of these books. This is just for the lists themselves. I hope I'm making sense. Jean's asthma's acting up. Oh, I'm sorry, Jean. Okay, thanks, Vicki. Thank you. Get better, Jean. Your asthma's probably acting up because of all the dust you had to kick up with sorting your stuff, Jean. I hope you're taking something. So I'm not going to do that right now. I'm not going to like white this out, but I'm just going to kind of flip through here just so you can see and get inspiration. You are going to be so inspired just by me flipping through this book. So remember, you can white things out, make some more, you know, do whatever you want. Here's where I might want to put start my random things. Because remember in the red book here, we did, these are our, we did a list to make combinations. I hope I'm not too all over the place. I think I am, but if y'all watch the show long enough, then y'all know what I'm talking about. If you're new to the show, don't email me and say, I don't get what you're talking about, because I'm trying to include so many ideas and generating ideas in one spot that I've covered so many times in other videos. And so it's kind of like catch-22. Oh, you repeat yourself too much. Well, you didn't repeat yourself enough, so now I don't understand. You see, so... okay, Jean, please do. Please do. So this was the list that everybody here in chat helped make. And it was just a list of things they want to see me draw. Everything from cherries, a ladybug, a pansy flower, a scarab beetle, a giraffe, an angel, a platypus, a pine cone. I'm just skipping all over. A cowboy, a dolphin. So anyway, you could use all of this kind of thing, a list of things that you would like to draw, and write them randomly. Don't just make that same, don't just take this list and transfer, although you could just transfer it here. What you need to do is maybe write one thing, 5 things here, then somewhere back here, 5 more things, and then that way they're all mixed up. Yeah, I know, Vicki. That way they're all mixed up. So you have some, might have an occupation, you might have a, all right, so like, let's just say, let me try to think of a good way to show. Okay, so let's just say I have a walrus, and I will probably write smaller. I'll write smaller than this when I'm doing it. I'm going to do one page kind of big for y'all to see, but you can write in a big Sharpie, or you could write in, you know, smaller, you know, with your, like I write very tiny with the Sharpie pen, very tiny. Well, maybe I'll do a combination of both. Let me find a pen. There's one of my Sharpies. I forgot to put on a ring this morning. I'm getting my wedding rings resized. Let me just find, let me dig through here. I know I got a Sharpie pen here. Or some pen. Here's a, you know, liner pen. This is a 6. That might be a little big too, but anyway. So let's just say a walrus, a penguin. I'm just looking through here. A pumpkin. Let's just say a scribe. I was going to say writer, but I'll put scribe. Let's put in winter, on an island. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just kind of randomly putting words. Now you can go off all your list, but don't put them all in a, I wouldn't recommend putting them all just like in rows of lists. You want them kind of all jumbled up so that when you go to pick things out, they're all random. Let's just say a compass. And let's see. And geology. Let's just do this. Okay. Now you could go in here. Yeah. Muse. A walrus pumpkin, a walrus penguin, a pumpkin walk into a bar. Well, you see, that's kind of how it works. That's actually kind of how it works. You have random words and ideas, and again, you could even put your prompts. You could put your technique prompts that we talked about on part 1. Anything. And then let's just say you did get a idea, a pumpkin and a scribe. You can circle both of those, and then what do you think about that? You can combine things. So in other words, it's your playground. So you play, you mind map, you list, you explore, and do it all in here. And then if you just, I just don't know, I can't think of an idea. You open this book, like I do my 3-ring binders. I open those books and I've got millions of combinations. You know, like I said, I could take from my, let me just pick up, here's my 3-ring binder. Here's my 3-ring binder that I showed earlier. And where's the list we just were working off of? I've got so many. I want to try to find the one we were using earlier so I don't get too off. Okay, so we had a scribe. Well, on this one I had an occupation, but let's just say you added an invention. Well, I have a compass, so you know. But you can add as many as you want. I mean, I just got tons and tons of notes. And then what you do is go through and with a sketchbook, especially if, hey Rebecca, especially if you want to draw, if you want to draw from your, literally sketch from your ideas, then go through and ask yourself the questions. Who is this scribe? What is he doing with the pumpkin? Why a pumpkin? See, here's your questions. He's going to do what with the pumpkin? He's going to cut up pumpkins and sell them, dry them out, and use them like parchment skins? How's he going to do that? How's he going to do that? Why is he going to do that? Is there a shortage of parchment that we have to use pumpkin skins? Where's he going to lay that out? Is he at a monastery? Does he have his own place? Where's he going to dry out pumpkins? Where's he going to get the pumpkins? Who's he going to buy them from? Who's he going to sell them to? You see? Does he live at a place where there's a demand for pumpkin skins because there's no parchment skins? How long will they last? Can you write on them? Can you ink on them? Can you paint on them? You see what I'm saying? You keep this is your focus right here. This is your focus for anything that you combine. We just combined a pumpkin and a scribe, but this is where you're going. And then again, this is just your list and ideas. You need to sketch out, draw out, mind map out larger ideas on a bigger paper. And if you want to do it all together, this and the sketching, then you might want to do everything in your big magazine journal. Okay? So let me take a breath and see if anybody has any questions. I know it seems kind of convoluted, and it is in a way. It kind of is in a way, because those unrelated ideas, when you ask the questions, is what gives you new sparks of ideas. Hey Zandra, bye Zandra. Okay, so again, all of the lists that you've collected and that we have done over the years or months, if you haven't been here years, use those lists. Even if it's just your list of things to draw, and write them in your book with other things. Like I said, if you do a person, place, and a thing, and a person can be anything alive. So any kind of animal, mammal, fish, bird, that could be your person. And a place and a thing. If you have a person, place, and thing on every page, and ask your questions, Thanks, Eileen. Then you'll have, I just can't tell you. I can't ever understand when somebody goes, I don't know what to draw. What? Okay, so I'm going to flip through here and I might stop. See, look, see the white space? That's awesome. It's already white. I don't even have to put any paint. But if I want to cover up any names or anything like that, or I might just want to leave them. So here's our questions. That's what we have to focus on throughout the book. So you see, you can turn it into this and still write over here. What's in a scribe's mind? You know, let's see. Books, parchment, calligraphy, ink, quills. Okay, so, but don't stop at that. Those could be your things. Now, where might he be? What if he's not in a monastery? He could be in a monastery. So you might want to write it down. But where else might he be? He might be a time traveler. He might have met Da Vinci. And I do like to put little dots. That's just me. I do like little dots. Yeah, exactly. If you can't draw. And again, this is great if you're a writer, generating ideas to write or storytelling. You see? You like the idea, Terry? Thanks. I love this. This is one of my favorite things, and that's why I like to share it with y'all. I don't know how well I explain everything, but I love sharing the ideas with you of how to come up with things and branch out. Oh, I need an apostrophe. That's true. I do. There. Dorothy. So even if, yeah, there's just so many ways to do the art. That's another, that's another episode as far as, combining these things into an art project. We've done that too. We've used colors, color combinations. If I took, my ideas of a time traveling monk who met Da Vinci and got me a design seed color combination, you see. And maybe he has maybe a sundial and a what do you call it, sand what do you call it, sand through the time, sand. Oh my gosh, where the sand goes through the hourglass. Isn't it an hourglass? So yeah. Yeah, and here's, I'm going to keep flipping through here, so hopefully you'll get the idea of just looking at the pages. Just look at the pages, guys, and think about what you could write on these pages. Or white out of the pages. Like you could white out the little bits of text, right? And again, it doesn't have to be necessarily white. Like, let's just take this page for a minute. I'm going to pull out some, let me get some lavender, maybe. I'm going to use some lavender mint. Okay, I got this one clogged up because I don't close my lids all the way. I'm going to get a pokey tool. So maybe a little lavender, a little of the mint. Maybe might need a little bit more. See how my lids, I don't close them and so they get crusty. And I got some white, maybe some peach. Let's go with some coral or some peach color. Again, make this kind of book kind of like, I don't want to say a lifetime, but make it like something that you'll come to all the time. Okay, so now I have some the purple lavender. I'll put a little peach on, I mean a little of the mint green on here, and I'm going to just scrape a little bit of the coral color. I want to keep that bird, and really guys, you should put some paper behind here. I didn't do that. You'll end up gluing your pages together. Alright, so like, let's just say I put that much on there, and then kind of just take a baby wipe, kind of smear and fill in. If I don't have enough paint or need more, I'll just pick some more up. Maybe a little more peach up here. Maybe I want to kind of smooth some over that just to have it not so plain. Maybe I want some of that black covered up. Get a little more mint green. So you see where we're going with it? Now look how pretty just that is, guys. And then maybe I want to pick up some white on my palette knife and just kind of lightly scrape some white on there. And take my baby wipe, kind of blend some of that out. See how pretty that looks? And then you can add your ideas after it dries on top. And if you're afraid of your and Sharpies will dry from using it on paint, use a Bic. A Bic, you know, your regular Bic pen. They'll go over, that's another Paula tip I learned. Your Bic pens will go over acrylic paint. But, you know, not every page has got paint. Some are just going to have, you might just write in here, you know. But with a Sharpie, because they will dry out. But a Bic pen won't. Or you can stamp. That's a good question. Vicky's asking about having a good magazine to begin with. I like all the Somerset publications. Now some people can't stand to tear any of them up or whatever, so I used a blogger one here and a art journaling one. But if you like gardening, gardening magazines are awesome because they have lots of flowers and bushes and doors, or architecture magazine, or a combination. Like this is 2 different magazines cut up and made into 4 parts. So combine a couple. You could put more than 4. I mean, that's 4. I mean, 2 magazines cut in half. You could put 3 magazines cut in half and have 6 different sections. But it's just a way that you could draw on here, you could doodle, you can make these kind of books like the big magazine journals. You can make them for lots of purposes. But this little one, I just really wanted to do, you know, the idea generating, you know, with these questions. This is what I wanted to do. If you did, okay, let's just say, to get the fear out of people. All right, let's just say, okay, oh, I wish I would have had more nouns or more verbs, and I can't think of anything with this, which I wouldn't do because you can combine so many things. But let's say you didn't like it. Okay, you didn't like this, so we're going to paint over it. I got 3 or 4 colors of paint right here. Okay, so I'm going to paint over it, then I'm going to scrape some white over the top. I just want to show you that there's, you know, if you don't like something, just paint over it. Don't be afraid. It's your idea book. It's your playground. You can do whatever you want. Okay, so now I want to dry that, and then I'll scrape over some. Pick up some white, and let's just scrape over it. And now you have a fresh thing to write on. And you can still see a little bit of the words on it. That looks cool to me. But, you know, y'all have to decide what works for you. Could get some, oh, I know, I'll add some red, because that's our dominant color here. And if you don't feel like you're able to do your ideas in a book like this, then at least make a composition book, guys. Have some place. I cannot stress enough. You have to have some place where you can write out your questions, your mind mapping, your lists. You have to have some place to do that. If it's not in this, find just anything. But always make sure that your paint is dry, because that will stick your pages together. I don't have any problem with my Americana paint, once it's 100% dry, sticking any pages together. Whereas if you use artist grade paints with those nice binders and the vibrant, you know, they can stick your pages together. So, all right, I'm going to keep going here and flipping, guys, just so you can kind of see. See, there's lots of places to write your list. I wrote those really big. Again, I'm more apt to write with this. I'm going to write with a tiny pen because I want a lot on the page. I want a lot on the page. So I could write here, I can write here, I can write there. But always keep your who, what, where, when, why, and how in mind. So see, look, if I just say, oh, I don't like this, I can paint that out. Paint out any of the words you don't want. So I'm just going to keep flipping here, just so, see, look, just how much that paint. And again, you can take your distress pads, distress it, go right over the top and distress any of it. I'm just big on drying in between, you know. Now, if you hear any sticky coming apart, it's because that's where I got glue on the binding when I glued it, because I was in a hurry. When you are gluing, don't, see right there, it's kind of stuck right there because I got some glue right there. But look, all this can be whited out, and you got a big place there. Yeah, that's what I liked about it too, the size and the chunkiness of it. That's why I wanted to make it a small one. And that's why I called it the mini magazine. Mini magazine, mind mapping, idea collecting, prompt playground. And then also, guys, you could glue other things on top. You know, if you had a little piece of something you really liked, or Post-it notes or anything, you know, glue in it. Something to say. You know, just get rid of everything here that you don't want and have that to write your ideas. So, see, look at all this. You can't not get ideas from this. That's why I say cut up some magazines. Cut them up, or just use a big one. If you like the big ones, you know, like this, look. Big, giant, chunky ones. Same exact thing, but this is just a small one. So, okay, I'm going to just kind of flip. So how inspiring is this? You could combine an art journal one with a gardening one and a travel one. So let's just say you cut them in half. You could have let's just say have 6 parts. You could have art, garden, travel, art, garden, travel. Space them out differently and have, 6 different sections. See, again, I got some glue on the edges right there. And so anything that's glued, I just kind of go like that. Because I did kind of get in a hurry when I glued these together. So let me just kind of flip. See? You could pick out words like art journaling feeds my soul. You could just pick up, you could just circle art feeds my soul. You see, or whatever. Again, I got a couple stuck here because of the glue. So if y'all got any questions, and then right here, this is where it's a double thickness because that's where the two covers were glued together. Let me unstick that. There we go. This is where the 2 covers are glued together. So it makes it real sturdy every section. And I'll go through page by page and make sure nothing's stuck. And also I'll take out any of these renewal cards that, were in the magazine. You could put washi tape, anything. But for me, this particular book, I wanted it to be about writing the ideas in it. Writing the ideas, and I put a cover on it. Again, it really needs to be, sit with some books on top of it overnight, because I just made this morning. Again, don't forget to work some in the front, some in the back, some in the front, some in the back, so that your spine doesn't do this. This was my first one I ever made, and I really didn't think about going, I just started in the front and just worked my way through. Well, by the time I got back here, the spine was warping, and there's nothing you can do about it. So in the second one, or this may have been the third one, I started working front to back, and it still, got it a little messed up, but not near as bad. So, yeah. So you see, let me show you a few pages out of this one. Well, maybe I already showed this one. How do you color to enhance something you like? I pick the colors based on what's there. Like, for instance, these yellow, creamy, peachy colors, they were already on the page. See? So that's how I pick those colors. I picked the colors, and that's why I said earlier that makes it a great way to learn how to blend, how to pick colors. Yeah, I think this is the one we showed earlier. Yeah, because otherwise you will get warped. You'll get warped, Vicky. We don't want you to be warped. See, here's where I painted out with white the text, and then I just used my red distressed or whatever ink pad, distress pad, and just went around all the edge. See, just that alone. Here's why I just drew a feather on it. But this one is wasn't for the purpose. I didn't make this one for the purpose of my idea listing, because all my idea listings have been in my 3-ring binders, or just the things to combine to draw in these little freestyle notebooks. But if you want to have a central place to collect your ideas. Yeah, see? Here, look. Paint, ink, you know, just scraping with the palette knife. Or y'all know, you can take, you know, you can take your cards and, let's see, let's find a place here. Okay, here's one that's partially done. I'll take, you know, pick up your paint on a card and, you know, do this business. You know, we've been doing that forever in the art journaling world. Just make sure it's dry before you go on. Like, I don't want to close this book now, because if I close this now, that page is sealed. You've really glued that page shut. If you know, wet paint in there. So there's this way to do your art, you know, if you just want to make a cool magazine art journal like this, or in the case of this, I want to use it for writing down ideas. And it's going to take a while, guys, to, you know, clean off a lot of the text, to have more places to write, you know, so it's best to kind of go, you know, pick a page back here and then come back up here again, so that your spines don't get all wonky. All right, I'm going to do this last page here. Does anybody have any questions? Ask now while I'm working on this one. I think I'm going to go with some coral and white. And Jean, you better just get better, sassy pants. Okay, so I'm going to clean off the red. And I'm going to pick up white. So I can just kind of just mush off the, you can use a paintbrush or, you know, just use a palette knife. It's quick. Maybe I think I like making connections, because that's kind of what we're doing. So much to share. Making connections with words. Okay, let me dry this, and then I'll put some coral on it. Oh, brother. Vicky was talking about vampires and zombies, and Button goes, so ask now or forever hold your fangs. So if you're watching this recording this far, and you haven't watched any of my other, I'm going to pick up some of the coral color. And if you've never watched any of my other idea generating, idea collecting shows, and this is a little confusing or a little like, what? Just, you know, ask me any questions in the comments, and, you know, I'll do my best to answer. But again, guys, it's just, for me, it's about, you know, thinking outside the box. Thinking outside the box and coming up with new ways to generate ideas. And if you have other mind mapping and listing techniques that work for you, then put them in here, however works for you. The idea, though, is to ask who, what, where, why, when, and how on your ideas, on your words. Because that's going to make you think about them differently. Okay, so now I think I'm going to take my baby wipe and just kind of do a little bit of blending here. Get rid of some of the white there. Then I'm going to dry this, and I'll just get out maybe a different ink pad to edge with. If you like neater You know, if this is too messy for you, I mean, go in here and do this. You can make you some, again, I probably shouldn't be using my Sharpie on here because I'm going to wear it out. Make you some, you know, lines to write on. If you want to write your list there. Making connections so you could do, you know, opposites here. Use the page. Use your page to, to your advantage. Use the images on the page to your advantage. And remember, it's just a magazine and paint. If you don't like something, just paint over the whole thing. All right, now let's see. I'll get out a, let's see. Let's go with, let's try a dark, maybe a dark blue. I don't even know which of these ink pads still work. Seriously, I have no idea how many of them really work. Okay, so I'm going to put some blue around here. Hit this with the heat gun. Stamp, whatever. Okay, so there's my little mini magazine mind mapping idea collecting prompt playground book. I hope y'all had fun with doing it and got yourself some ideas. And I guess I'm going to head out, and Janet comes on in probably about 30 minutes. Go get me a, I think I'll make me a grilled cheese today. Who'da thunk? Grilled cheese. And good to have you, Clarissa, as a regular person. Oh, you know what? Okay, y'all stick around. Don't leave. Vicky, can you stay for a minute? Terry Trouble, stay for a minute after I save this video. Yeah. Hang on, guys. Let me save this video real quick. And again, if you're watching on YouTube and have any questions or, you know, comments or whatever, please just be nice. We're just trying to share here. Trying to share ideas and, you know, creativity. And if this wasn't for you, then just fast forward. Don't watch it. Just X out. That's what that little red X in the corner does. All right, guys. So thanks for watching, and stick around for a minute.